We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Parton,
Here.
Vice Mayor Joyner,
Here.
Councilor Harris,
Here.
Councilor Ellis, Councilor Day,
Here.
Councilor Wheat,
Here.
Councilor Rapoli. Here. We have a quorum.
All right. This time, do I have a motion to allow Mr. Harris to participate remotely?
So move. Second.
All right. Motion's been made by Vice Mayor Joyner and seconded by Councilor Day. Mr. Harris, for the record, can you state where you're conducting the meeting from?
I'm conducting it from home for medical reasons.
Okay.
Councilor Wheat,
Yes.
Councilor Ellis, Vice Mayor Joyner,
Yes.
Councilor Harris,
Yes.
Mayor Parton,
Yes.
Councilor Rapoli,
Yes.
Councilor Day.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay. And at this time, do I have a motion to amend the agenda to include an R6 for recognition of city employees?
So move.
I'll second it. Actually, you know what? I'll give it to Councilor Wheat. He was quick.
He is.
Motion was made by Vice Mayor Joyner and seconded by Councilor Wheat. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilor Wheat,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joyner,
Yes.
Councilor Harris,
Yes.
Mayor Parton,
Yes.
Councilor Rapoli,
Yes.
Councilor Day.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Okay. All right, moving on to our closed session. Do I have a motion to go into closed meeting under Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A3, 8, and 29 to discuss the acquisition or disposition of real property, where discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body, the award of a public contract, where discussion in an open session would adversely affect the city's bargaining position, and to consult with legal counsel regarding specific legal matters, real estate contract discussions, and 2.2-3711A1 and 8 to discuss personnel matters, Beacon Theater Board, Library Board, Wetlands Board, Bright Point Community College, and salary supplements.
So move.
All right, motion's been made by Councilor Rapoli and seconded by Councilor Day. Is there any discussion? Seeing no lights, roll call, please.
Councilor Wheat,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joyner,
Yes.
Councilor Harris,
Yes.
Mayor Parton,
Yes.
Councilor Rapoli,
Yes.
Councilor Day.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Okay. Call this regular city council meeting to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Parton,
Here.
Vice Mayor Joyner,
Here.
Councilor Harris, Councilor Ellis, Councilor Day,
Here.
Councilor Wheat,
Here.
Councilor Rapoli.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right. Certification, please.
Certification under Virginia Code 2.2-37.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I jumped the gun. Can I have a motion to come out of closed meeting?
So move.
I'll second it.
Councilor Wheat,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joyner,
Yes.
Mayor Parton,
Yes.
Councilor Rapoli,
Yes.
Councilor Day.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right. Now certification.
Certification under Virginia Code 2.2-3712D, where only public business matters, 1, lawfully exempt from open meeting requirements, and 2, identified in the closed meeting motion discussed in the closed meeting. Councilor Wheat,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joyner,
Yes.
Councilor Harris, Mayor Parton,
Yes.
Councilor Rapoli,
Yes.
Councilor Day.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Is that Harris?
Yeah. I think that. Okay.
That's
Yep.
him.
There's Mike. Okay. Okay. We've gone through certification. All right. I want to thank everybody for coming out to tonight's city council meeting. This is a very exciting meeting. It's a meeting that's been long waited for, and I hope that you all will stay tonight through the whole meeting, as we do have some light refreshments from the good news and celebration of some really good things that have been happening here in this city. So Yeah, we've already done that.
Okay.
All right, so with that, we'll start out with our report from the city manager.
Mayor, Council, good evening. This is a great night. Represents a long journey for the city organization and for the elected officials in the city. So finally, we'll be able to say tonight, and you'll say more about that, that the city of Hopewell has completed the fundamental task of clearing up its books every year. We've gotten caught up. And then the objective is to stay caught up going forward. And with the new city manager and with the finance staff we have in place, and with the cooperation, support of the treasurer and the commissioner of revenue, I have no doubt that the city will do that. So my congratulations to you, to all of you who've been involved in this, and we look to hear more. First off, Mayor, Council, several weeks ago, we had a presentation on the results of the employee opinion survey. And one of the comments I made then was that when you ask employees their opinion and they tell you, you need to do something in response. So tonight I'm going to ask Chief Rupert to report on the work of a group of directors that I asked to work on this, and to come back with some suggestions of how we address some of the concerns of the city employees.
All right. Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you tonight a little bit about the plan that we've put together to address some of the major concerns that were identified as part of the survey. So there were three primary or priority, I should say, areas that the vendor indicated to us that we should focus on. Those were workplace environment, relationship with upper management, and pay. And then there was also a number of secondary priorities, including a few of those which are training and development, communication within the city, employee relations, quality of workforce, among a few others. What we, as the directors that the city manager tasked us to do, is we looked at those and we tried to come up with some things that we could recommend as options, especially for the new city manager coming in, to look at how we can address some of those things. So you have a copy in your packet of what we developed, and I'll just go over a couple of those really quickly. Obviously, pay was one of the things that was identified as something that city employees wanted the city to look at. We looked at a number of different things that we could do to improve on that, one of which is implementing a performance incentive program. Many of us, any of you who know, been in the workplace, there's certainly employees that rise to the top that just put forth that extra effort and really demonstrate a high level of efficiency and capability. And so we believe that rewarding those people with a program that would give them an additional percentage in their pay would help to incentivize them to continue to work hard and continue to provide that high level of performance. We do believe that this would need to be limited to a certain number. A suggested number is about 10% of the workforce, and certainly I think we need to be a little flexible with that depending on where we land, but that's probably a good target percentage. And certainly any department that would be that less than 10% would be less than one. We would certainly want to give at least one employee within that department the ability to achieve that. But we think that would certainly encourage those that are the most high performers to continue to perform high and to do the good work that they do for the city. The other thing that we looked at in that was the methodology when we do evaluations. A lot of times, like with the study that we just came out of, a lot of times the companies will look at the entire band of pay for a specific job title and not really look at the real time pay of an individual that has a certain number of years of experience and what they're being paid in those other jurisdictions to compare, rather than just the whole spread. And so we think that would be, and there's a number of other jurisdictions that have done that, and that allows there to be a real true apples-to-apples comparison. And we think that going forward, as the city does other studies, that if they were to look a little bit more granular at that, that might assist us with getting on target for some of the employees that might still feel like they've been left behind based on people in other jurisdictions that have their similar experience and similar pay. Second, we looked at enhancing the workforce environment. And I'll be honest with you, one of the things that we asked the vendor for when we went to do this was some additional granular information on this. We felt like this is not an easy one-size-fits-all suggestion because obviously, allowing for instance, additional work from home time would work for some departments, but then certainly places like Public Works or the fire department, that's really not going to apply. And so we wanted to know where the biggest concern when this came from, as far as where are the main departments that had those concerns. And so unfortunately the vendor, they did get us that information back, but it came after we had completed this. So we do feel like we do need to go back and look at this one more time after looking at that data. But some of the kind of the low-hanging fruit, for instance, that we came up with is increasing the flexibility of schedules where that's applicable, and that may vary based on department. And that feeds right into that next one, as well as possibly expanding employee recognition by perhaps giving them some time off on their birthday or their anniversary, as well as continuing the work that the Wellness and the Wellness Committee and the Vision Committee are doing. They're doing good work, and I think that they need to continue that and enhance the work that they're doing. And then above that, I think looking back at that data, we may be able to come up with a number of other items that might be more specific to where the concerns are coming as far as the workplace environment is concerned. Strengthening the relationships with upper management. We felt like that was some of the feedback that was given. And so one of the suggestions was the city manager's report that comes out to all you counselors. It may be a good thing to pass that on to all the city employees so they get to see an update of where the city is and the kind of things that are going on so they can get excited about some of the progress that's maybe happening in one of the other departments that they may not be aware of otherwise. Also encouraging the city manager to provide some semi-annual updates to all employees, whether that's in person at, say, the city luncheon, the city employee luncheon, or through an email that just gives that additional connection from upper management down to the boots on the ground folks that are out there doing good work every single day. And then finally, promoting leadership by presence. And this is not just at the city manager level, but at the director level and at the manager level, that they would be out there amongst their folks more often and be more connected to their people so that they can communicate better with them. We also had a couple suggestions on encouraging dialogue, including having regular town hall meetings inside of each department with the director to give employees the opportunity to talk with their director directly and give feedback on some questions that they have or comments that they have on the department operations. Number 4 was improve communications across the organization. I think the biggest thing there that we looked at is communicating more often and in more ways with all of our employees. And one of those ways is by improving on our intranet and how we post information there for access from our employees, as well as using Hopewell alerts to better communicate with our employees, things like city office closures during severe weather and things like that. And then finally, creating additional ways to communicate amongst all the employees, like having a way for employees to make suggestions, and then if those suggestions are accepted and implemented, that they receive some kind of award. Finally, we looked at investment in training and development, which is always a good idea when it comes to employees. We know our employees are certainly our most valuable asset. And so a couple of the options that we looked at there were some additional internal training. So whether that's onboarding and learning additional things, if they're going to be a Munis user, to provide them some additional Munis training. Also, maybe do some quarterly lunch and learn with topics that might interest city employees that would impact them on the job, but also in their private life, like CPR. And finally, we looked at expanding access to professional development and technical training. There's a lot of options out there. The city does have a college reimbursement program, but also there's a number of professional organizations out there that offer a number of different programs that can enhance an employee's knowledge and understanding of how they do their job. And so finding ways to partner with those organizations and allow those trainings to be more accessible to our employees, I think over the long run will not only help to develop our employees, but also help them to feel appreciated and feel like they're being developed. And that's all I have. Any questions about any of those things?
Questions?
I don't see any lights. All right. Thank you,
Thank
Chief.
you so much.
Thank
Chief,
you.
if you want to acknowledge those on the committee with you?
Yes, absolutely. I certainly should have done that. Our HWR director was Matt was on our committee, as well as our Parks and Recreation director and our Social Services director and
Public Works.
Public Works. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Moving on to our next part of your report, Mr. Bissett.
Sure.
Sure. This is obviously a little bit out of the ordinary. I don't normally speak during these, but councilors, we've received a number of questions surrounding why the city has issued bonds recently. So I decided to write up some notes about why local governments would issue bonds instead of spending money on hand or money that has been invested themselves, that we've been investing ourselves. And I'm going to ask you to forgive me. In a past life, I was a school teacher, and I am afraid that is going to show here tonight. But I'm going to do my best to keep this as brief as possible. So first, some funds are use restricted. Many of the city's funds are use restricted by law. Even when there's a balance in these funds, that money can't be used to pay for certain things. There's been concern about the city having been broke. In the case of Hopewell, that's not actually true. The city has remained cash flow positive, even though there have been tight times, of course. Instead, Hopewell has historically suffered some mismanagement of its funds, which has shown up as a lack of transparency into the balances and their uses, as well as inappropriately using funds that were committed in one place for other projects and generally having poor oversight of their use. Second, the city needs to maintain financial stability and a safety net. Cities need to keep reserves to handle emergencies like storms, infrastructure failures, maintain services during recessions, and avoid sudden tax increases or service cuts. Financial advisors recommend that a city like ours have reserves of between 2 and 6 months of the city's operating expenses, and that's in just straight liquid cash on hand. Hopewell keeps about 2 months worth of average annual expenditures on hand as liquid cash. So these are funds that never get touched except in extreme emergencies. Some funds need to be invested and not spent. Think of these as our extended reserves. They're not completely liquid cash because they can take some time to withdraw. More importantly, of course, they fluctuate with the market that they're invested in. Our financial advisors recommend that we keep an amount equal to 10% of our yearly budget in investments. We have about that 10% invested, and we tend year on year to get a 6.72% return on that investment, which takes into account inflation. So, sharing the cost between current residents and future residents. That's to say, that's one of the reasons why a bond may be taken out. So large projects like paving, school renovations, and upgraded wastewater infrastructure are expected to last decades. And when you pay for those with bonds, that is current residents as well as future residents paying the cost of those long-term infrastructure investments. When you pay with cash on hand or when you pay by liquidating money that's invested, that is essentially your current residents today paying the full cost of something that is for the benefit of people 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now as well. So why would you issue a bond instead of dipping into those investment funds? Paying cash might sound fiscally conservative. When you hear that the city has millions in reserves, it sounds like unused cash. So the city should issue bonds instead of dipping into investment funds when the percentage that we would pay out on the bond is going to be less than the percentage that we expect to bring in from our investments. So if we are issuing bonds that cost us 5% and we are making investments that bring us in 7%, it makes sense to keep the investment and issue the bond. What about selling property? We've heard about the city owning a number of pieces of property. Selling property can seem like a good alternative, and sometimes it is. Sometimes it's precisely what the city should be doing, but property is just like an investment in the markets. Sometimes it's not the right time to sell an investment as a long-term strategy. So the bottom line from all of this, issuing bonds while maintaining reserves and investments can protect the city's financial stability. It protects the city's credit rating. Eventually, every city must issue bonds. Using up its reserves signals to financial institutions weakness, and it increases the percentage that we pay when it comes time to issue a bond. That's what's happened to us right now. That's the boat that we're in because of decisions that have been made in the past. It shares costs fairly over time, and it keeps the city prepared for emergencies. With that, I would like to open up if anyone on council has questions that they'd like to ask. I know that's quite a bit.
No, I'll just make a point that it's a hard mindset to try to understand. Myself personally, I do like paying cash for things, but I'm also not running an enterprise that's affecting over 23,000 individuals, but also a wastewater plant that ends up serving multiple localities and a federal corrections institute and a state jail, and servicing a Army installation. So I think that this is really good for folks to help try to give a little bit more understanding and clarity on why we do this. And it is exciting to see that we are back at 10%. Because I know in a previous report, it showed that we were drawing from that, unfortunately, which is a signal of financial weakness. And I know that we as council have talked about going and increasing that 10%, so that way we can try to become more attractive to the credit rating agencies, so we can continue to strengthen our position for when future bonds come down the road.
And Mr. Mayor, let me say that Anthony's statement will be listed on the website, because we talked about this internally about some of the questions that had come up at some of the past council meetings, and we wanted people to understand better the fundamentals of municipal finance, and so that we could have this dialogue about why we do certain things in government. So thank you, Anthony, and this will be posted.
Yeah, this is really excellent. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So next, we have our governmental financial overview from our deputy city manager, Stacy Jordan.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council. This presentation was done at the First Town Budget Town Hall, and very details of rather long presentation, so I won't go through it tonight, but this presentation will also be posted on the city's website along with Anthony's statement about the bonds. So our overview is going to cover financial policies, revenues, budget, cash and investments, fund balance, basic financial statements, audit opinions, and bond ratings. All right, we can go to the city has financial policies established for the city of Hopewell. They were done when I first got here in 2024. They were adopted. They're also posted on the city's website under finance, under the link that says financial policies. The revenues that the city of Hopewell brings in are general property taxes, which include real estate, public service corps, penalties and interests, other local taxes, local sales and use, consumer utilities, business license, bank stock, communications, utilities, lodge and mills, telecommunications and rental taxes, permit fees and licenses, building permits, right-of-way permits, special use and zoning, planning permits, EMS, FOIA, as well as other fees associated with the city, our fines and forfeitures, court fines and forfeitures, parking fines, DMV stops, red light fines, DMV selection transactions, revenue from the use of property, money of property, interest income, revenue from the marina rentals and bond sales, miscellaneous revenue, which includes capital debt reimbursements from employees, insurance, taxes, sales of salvage, surplus, rebates, refunds, and other miscellaneous incomes, revenue from the Commonwealth, which would be for our constitutional officers, grants, which include VJCCA, Victim Witness, the Police 599, Police Aid Fund, CSA, Social Services, and Streets and Highway Maintenance. Revenues from federal include grants for fire, capital projects, CDBG funds, and social services reimbursements. The budget. By law, the city must adopt a balanced budget every fiscal year. It shall outline proposed financial policies of the city for ensuing fiscal year and describe important features of the budget, indicate any major changes from the current year in financial policies, expenditures, and revenues together with the reasons for such changes. The budget is an estimate of what we need to be successful. And we must be mindful that it's what we need versus what we want. All department heads are responsible for making sure that the department is operating within their means, which they should not be going over budget for anything, and their budget should be aligned in with the requirements and resources that are available. Okay? Cash investments in fiscal stability. Per Government Finance Officers Association, a financially sustainable community provides services to its citizens within its available means while proactively taking measures to build and preserve its ability to provide services in the future. The financial health model to the side depicts a three-legged stool comprised of sound fiscal position and parameters. So we have our financial position and parameters, we have our budget practices, our liabilities, and our political and economic environment. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about fund balance. Anthony spoke about some earlier with his presentation. Governmental fund financial statements fund balance may be comprised of 5 classifications in our mitigating financial risks, maintaining stable tax rates, and addressing cash flow timing. Non-spendable fund balance. This classification includes amounts that cannot be spent because they are either not in spendable form or contractually required to be maintained intact. Restricted fund balance. This classification includes amounts that are restricted to specific purposes by external parties. Committed fund balance. This portion of fund balance can only be used for specific purposes determined by formal action of the city's highest level of decision-making authority, City Council. Assigned fund balance. This portion of the fund balance that the city intends to use for specific purposes and expressed by a governing body itself, the budget document, or delegated officials, city manager. Unassigned fund balance. This portion of the fund balance available for any purpose. It includes all spendable amounts not classified as non-spendable, restricted, committed, or assigned. Fund balance is not synonymous with cash, as it includes non-cash assets such as receivables, and it represents a point-in-time calculation. As we get our ACFRs, they are as of the year of the ending of the fiscal year, June 30th of 2025. At the first meeting in May, I will do a more detailed dive into the ACFR so people can follow along and understand what each exhibit represents. Basic financial statements. The ACFR presents up to 3 different types of financial statements as part of basic financial statements. Government-wide statement of net position is a snapshot of the government's financial health at the specific time. Statement of activities is similar to an income statement and reflects revenues, expenses, and the change of assets in time. Fund financial statements, which is a balance sheet, is a snapshot detailing assets on what we own. Liabilities is what we owe, and our equity is our net worth. Statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance measures the performance of government funds. Fiduciary funds, to manage assets held for beneficiaries other than government entity itself, for instance, like our pension account. Okay. Audit opinions. At the conclusion of the ACFR preparation, the audit process, the city's external auditor, which is Robertson Farmers Cox, renders an opinion on whether the city's financial statements fairly present the results of the city for the period reported. The types of opinions that can be rendered are as follows. Unmodified, which is the clean highest level of assurance. Qualified, financial statements are generally accurate but have specific material issues. Adverse, financial statements are materially misstated. And disclaimer, the audit cannot form an opinion due to severe lack of records. If you remember, the City of Hopewell received a disclaimer on their audits back in 2020, 2019. The last three options are all considered modified opinions. As we move forward to go towards the bond rating agencies for the city to receive a bond rating, the city hasn't had a bond rating since 2018. So we do have an opportunity now that our ACFRs are all caught up to go before the bond rating agencies to receive an initial bond rating. We have been doing diagnostic bond ratings after a completion of every ACFR. Currently, our bond rating could be possibly a AA3, which is a great bond rating. Okay? Criteria for accomplishing bond rating or path forward. We have a goal. We're working with Davenport, who is our financial advisors, to receive an initial bond rating. The criteria for bond rating is a stable financial position with adequate fund balances and adequate liquidity levels, manageable long-term liabilities, and moderate fixed costs. As far as our liabilities, when we're taking out these new GO bonds, how we have them set up is so that as we remove debt payments off of our out of our budget, as we wipe off our debt, like in 2027, we're going to have at least another $1 million because we've paid off debt. We're increasing, we're getting the bonds, and the payments will not be due until we can make sure that we can pay for the new debt that we take on. That benefits the residents as we don't have to increase tax rates and we're saving money. We also have an opportunity to go and refinance some of the debt that we have to put additional savings back into the city of Hopewell. Okay? Some items that can decrease your bond rating. This is specifically for Moody's. There are 3 credit rating agencies, Moody's, S&P, as well as Fitch. Decreases can come from a decline in your reserve and liquidity levels, tax-based deterioration, significant increase in debt or long-term liabilities. Increases, maintain reserves and liquidity levels, tax-based growth and diversification, strengthening median household income, and population growth. S&P rating is based on the following criteria. Credit overviews, a weak city's financial position improving, weak economy, strong budgetary performance with surplus, strong budgetary flexibility, strong liquidity, and strong debt and contingent liability profile. Bond rating continued. We talked about the 3 credit rating agencies. Moody's, impact of fund balance policies. This is something that can increase or decrease. Multiple year financial or capital planning, liquidity management, accuracy of budget forecasts, and mid-year adjustments. So this would be an increase, and this shows Moody's that we're financially stable and we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. Reliance on non-reoccurring or one-shot revenues. S&P measures the strength of governmental financial management through 7 key factors, which is revenue and expenditure assumptions, budget amendments and updates, long-term financial planning, long-term capital planning, investment management policies, debt management policies, and reserve and liquidity policies, which all of those the city has included in our financial policies posted to the city's website. So in conclusion, we're heading in the right direction. Again, tonight, David Foley will come up and speak about us finally completing our 25 ACFR. We plan to be on time for 2026. We were able to remove some of the audit findings, not all of them, but we're going in the right direction, and we continue to be on the same path. So, any questions?
I just want to say, and I know I can speak on behalf of City Council, and I know I can probably speak for our state delegation too, because they probably won't hear from the Auditor of Public Accounts anymore, but this is marvelous, and I really do appreciate all the hard work that you've done on this. You have been just an absolute tremendous asset, and I could not be prouder of the work that you've done.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, and I appreciate the finance team. We have a very good finance department right now.
Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you
so much.
Stacy, you want to roll into?
Yeah, I might as well stay because I'm next to you.
ACFR?
All right, we're going to do our third quarter financials. So remember, again, this budget to actual is a trend analysis based off of where we were in 25 versus how we're doing in 26. Okay, so citywide for third quarter revenues are trending 1.38% or $12.5 million higher for 26 versus 25. Expenses for third quarter are trending 1.63% or $12.1 million higher for 26 versus 25. Our increase in expenses stem from our annual salary and fringe increases, as well as an increase for school expenses. Increase in revenues is due to increase in collections from Manole versus data integrators, our previous utility billing, and HWR. Key due dates for the City of Hopewell, again, are December, February, May, and June. Upcoming due is going to be a real estate as well as machinery and tools tax, when that's on the 15th of June. Okay. Our general fund third quarter. General fund for the third quarter is trending 7.44% or $6.9 million higher in revenues for 26 versus 25. Expenses for 26 are trending 0.98% or $916,000 higher than 25. Increase in expenses stem from 3% annual salary increases, and increase in revenues are due to transfers or rollover from purchase orders from the previous year. Okay. Our enterprise fund, third quarter. Enterprise fund for third quarter is trending 7.78 or $4.9 million higher in revenues for 26 versus 25. Expenses for 26 are also trending 9.9% or $4.5 million higher than expense in 2025. Increase in revenues stem from on-time billing, collected monies owed from data integrators, increase in collections from our new vendor Manole, and correct billing from Manole, as well as capital being billed on a monthly basis rather than on a yearly basis for our industry partners. Increase in expenses stem from capital projects and increased maintenance and operations. Our school system. Schools is trending 4.38% or $1.6 million higher in revenues for 26 versus 25, and expenses are trending 1.31% or $5 million more in 26 versus 25. The slight increase in the revenues for the schools stems in state revenues, and the expenses, after talking to Janelle, is stemming more so from some things that they had to get done for as far as maintenance and stuff for the schools. So they're spending more money. Okay, our department budget to actuals for the third quarter. This spreadsheet will show you that we are in line. We should be about roughly 75% because we're in the third quarter. Overall budget, we're 71%, so we're on trend. There are a couple of departments that are off trend, but I've written the comments to the side. Finance, for one, is 76%, which is only 1% higher than where we should be, but that's due to multiple audits being done in the year. So instead of the money's being spent, spaced out across the fiscal year, it's lump sum prior to. City clerk's office is increase in advertising costs, slight increase. We have CSA, which is an increase in services. We have economic development. So his is increased due to the economic development incentives that he pays out during the fiscal year. Again, these are lump sum payments, but it will average itself out by the end of the fiscal year. We also have human resources, HR manual consultant that was hired to update the HR manual. There's a slight increase. IT is from the IT contracts. We have the marina that came from the roof repair. Again, all of this should balance itself out at the end of the fiscal year. It's just off trend, as we should be at 75% of the budget used, and some departments are a little bit more than that. We also have police. That comes from their service contract for their software, again, lump sum. Treasurer, increase in delinquency processes. And victim witness was for services. But overall, the city is on trend for our third quarter budget to actuals by department. Okay, our overtime by department. We have the garage, which is part of Public Works, and we know we do have quite a few vacancies within Public Works, so a lot of their overtime is coming from their vacancies, as well as the police department. Refuse, we have to do a budget transfer for them to take care of the monies that was spent. This was specifically for the EOC when they had the storm. Let's see. We have the Sheriff's Department vacancies and budget transfer will be completed. Stormwater on-call 24/7 additional employee budget transfer will take care of the negative balance. Treasurer delinquency budget transfer to be completed. Voter registration is a part-time assistance because they've had additional elections this year, so their overtime is higher. Okay, so our third quarter salary savings, we have a $649,102 updated salary savings. What that will be allocated to is about $400,000 to complete the rest of the audits for this year. Commissioner of Revenue security upgrades, the barrier is $25,000, as well as some office shares and other expenses. Fire sewer line at Station 2, $50,000. Fire water leak at Station 1, $105,000. The Sheriff's Office radio system, $80,000, which we already know is not covered by a comp board or ICE funds, so we are going to use the salary savings to take care of that as well. There is no reappropriation needed by council, as it's just budget transfers. For accounts payable for third quarter, number of invoices processed was 4,029. Amount of invoices was $20 million. And we have paid 73% of our debt for the fiscal year. All of our payments have been on time. And that's all I have for our third quarter financials. Any questions?
Thank you. Are there any
Thank you.
questions for Ms. Jordan? Seeing no lights? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Now you're gonna do the ACFR.
That's the most exciting piece.
One more time. I would like to introduce Mr. David Foley. He is our external auditor from Robinson Farmers Cox to talk about the 2025 ACFR.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Good to be with you all again. My name is David Foley. I'm with partner of Robinson Farmer Cox Associates, and we have completed the audit for FY 25 and here to present the results to you all. The final report will be uploaded to the state and the federal clearinghouse by Thursday. So it'll be completed and uploaded to the various agencies by the 30th. So as I get into the results of the audit, first just would like to give a brief overview of the audit we do. First, there's really three main pieces of the audit that we do. One is, of course, we audit the city's financial statements to make sure that the city's financial statements have been prepared in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. The other two pieces of the audit we do in accordance with government auditing standards, one of which is, in addition to just looking at the numbers themselves, we look at the financial, internal controls over financial reporting that the city has over its financial processes, and we do this as a basis of designing our audit procedures and getting an understanding of those. And then the third piece is the federal compliance piece. So anytime a locality expends over $750,000 in federal grant funds, they're required to undergo a single audit as part of the financial statements for the major federal grant programs for the city and school board. We go through those compliance requirements to make sure that the city and schools are complying with those federal grant compliance requirements. So those are the three main pieces of the audit that we do. So as such, included in the audited financial statements, there are three different reports from us that communicate the results of the audit. The first is towards the front of the report. So the first report here is our independent auditor's report. And in this report where we state we did perform an audit on the city's financial statements, and is where we issue our opinion on the financial statements. And we have issued an unmodified opinion on the city's financial statements, which is a clean opinion on the financial statements. Essentially, an unmodified opinion means that the city's financial statements have been prepared in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. The other two reports from us are in the towards the back of the report in the compliance section. The first report back there is our report over the city's internal controls it has over its financial reporting. This year for FY25, we did see improvements over the city's internal controls over financial reporting. Over the past few audits that we've been going through, we've had a list of various material weaknesses included over the city's internal controls over financial reporting. So we did again see some improvement. So I'd say the number of findings was at least cut by more than half. So we feel like the city's improving those controls and again moving in the right direction when it comes to the controls over its financial reporting. Things like bank reconciliations. The city's doing those on a monthly basis now. They're using Munis to perform reconciliations, and the city is maintaining being up to date on those reconciliations. So that was an improvement that we saw in 25. We did have a few of the repeat findings that we've seen in the past. Overall, while we saw improvements this year, there's still some things we'd still would like to see done to help strengthen the internal controls. These mainly include timely monthly reconciliations over subsidiary ledgers, so reconciling property tax, delinquent property taxes on a monthly basis between the subsidiary and the general ledger. Also over the utility funds, doing those monthly reconciliations. And really the only other additional finding we had was just in going through the audit, we did have some material audit adjustments that needed to be posted as part of the audit. So, again, I think going through these additional monthly reconciliations, the city can start doing those on a monthly, timely basis. I think it will lead to eliminating the rest of these findings. And then the third and final report from us is 2 pages over. It's on page 139. So this is our report over the city's compliance with its major federal grant programs in accordance with uniform guidance. This report was clean. We noted no significant deficiencies or material weaknesses in the city's compliance with its major federal grant programs. Also, no items of non-compliance were noted as part of the audit. So get a clean opinion on the uniform guidance opinion. But again, those are the 3 reports from us. It's been a long journey, and it's nice to see these audits finally caught up. So, but that's all I have. But be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Vice Mayor Joyner?
Yeah, I have a question about the material weaknesses. In your opinion, based upon what you've seen, when we look at 2026, we need an on-time clean audit with no material weaknesses when we submit. Based upon your experience and the progress that we've made, do you anticipate that we can make the progress to make it a completely clean audit?
we can work with management and see how they're progressing, as far as in fiscal year 26 to see on those monthly reconciliations, if those are done throughout the year timely, then I think we can get to that point.
Okay.
But it just
That's a
depends on
concern.
if those procedures are in place.
That is a concern. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments? Councilor Wheat.
FY26 audit. What's the timeline in terms of when that would be completed?
The completion date, the goal would be to have the audit completed by December 15th. So the audit, generally we can, now that we're caught up, in a lot of the locality audits that we do, we start working on the audits even before fiscal year end, just doing some of the testing, like internal control testing, compliance testing, things that you can do even before the numbers are done. So a lot of times in the spring and summer, we're kind of starting the audit process for the localities. Then it's typically in the fall, September, October, when you come in to do the final field work after the city has their financials adjusted and ready to be audited. And then again with the goal of it being completed by December 15th.
Thank you.
And not to be cute, but Mr. Rogers, Stacy, and there he is, Mr. Jones. Can we make sure that we start doing some of that right now while we're in this fiscal year, taking advantage of exactly what he said?
Yeah, but I want David to restate. This is a clean audit, is it not? Though with weaknesses, but it's modified.
The
Unmodified.
The opinion on the financial statements is unmodified.
Okay.
But not the entire.
Right. The report over internal controls, has material
We
weaknesses
got some things to
reported.
do
Yeah.
still.
I just want to make sure we're first on your list when it comes to knocking this next one out. I want to make sure we get this thing done and on time, too.
That works for me.
Well, thank you, Mr. Foley. And this is actually a real exciting time, and I know that this is one of your statute requirements that you present the audit findings to us, and just outside the uploading piece, this is real exciting that we've closed a chapter in Hopewell's history, and we're moving forward into a new era. And I want to do a bunch of recognitions for people that really helped us get to where we are. And you can sit down because this might be a little while. But these people really do need special recognition. And so, I think as one of my favorite actresses, Julie Andrews, likes to say, what better place to start than at the beginning? So I want to first, and when I recognize you, I do ask that you please stand so people can see you, being recognized for your work. First up is former Mayor Jackie Shornack and former Vice Mayor Wayne Walton. I remember, and it's ironic because you guys are actually sitting in the same seats that I would always sit in at these meetings, but I remember watching in the audience over 11 years ago, y'all sounding the alarm when the first audit was late, the 2015 audit. And then the 2016 audit became overdue. And I watched you guys try really hard to hold the administration accountable. And I really do thank you for bringing the attention that this needed. And unfortunately, I think because this was uncharted territory, I don't think, collectively as a city, we knew, what the future had in store for us. And so, really, again, thank you for bringing attention to this issue, over 11 years ago. And we can save applause all the way for the very end. Next up, and I know that they're not here tonight, but I do know that they're listening, former Secretary of Finance, Steve Cummings, and former Deputy Secretary of Finance, John Markowitz. I want to thank these two men for showing a really genuine care and interest in trying to help Hopewell. It was much more than just meeting with us, seeing how we're doing. These two men actually worked many hours and even went so far as to approach the money committees in the General Assembly to bring in Alvarez and Marcel to do an operational audit on the city and to produce a remediation plan at no cost to the city. Additionally, they made a second offer to us to fund a seasoned city manager to come in for 6 months while City Council could do an executive search for a city manager. And unfortunately, City Council declined the offer, but they never gave up on us. They continued to check in with us. They continued to give us good advice. They continued to see what types of grants and funding were available for critical issues here in Hopewell. And so I really do appreciate both Secretary Cummings and Deputy Secretary Markowitz. Next is Nancy Zilke and the Alvarez and Marcel team. And I know that you're very humble, Nancy, but I do ask that you please stand because you were instrumental in this. You came into a city and went through a total financial mess. You developed a very, very good turnaround and stabilization plan that we're still working on. We're still making we're still taking your recommendations and we're implementing them, as evidence from what Mr. Foley announced tonight, and that despite individuals not giving you the full breadth of reports that you needed to do a comprehensive report, we still ended up getting, I believe it was about a 70-75% solution that, as I said, we're still implementing and we're still getting great results out of it. And you also showed a genuine care for the city, and that when your engagement was over with, you still checked in on us. You still checked in with the administration, with members on council. You provided us good advice on things that we needed to look at and try to implement, and helping us prioritize things. So I really appreciate all that you've done. Next up, Robert Bobb, Heather Ness, Jack Regan, and Russ Branson. You can stand, Mr. Bobb. Upon completion of the Alvarez and Marcel report and the stabilization and turnaround plan, the city charged the city manager at the time to put out an RFP to bring in the financial management and turnaround services that we desperately needed, as opposed to utilizing internal staff for this mission. You did a beautiful job with cleaning up the books, completing accounting remediation services, and developing the set of new policies and procedures that we've implemented today. Additionally, your team discovered multiple cases of fraud. You helped us weed out those bad employees. You also helped Hopewell prevent itself from insolvency due to years of poor financial management. And lastly, you went above and beyond and discovered that our former third-party vendor was not performing at the level that they needed to perform. And because of that, we were able to save significant funds that we've been able to reprogram into capital improvements. So thank you so much, sir, for all that you've done for the city. Next up is Brenda Pelham. In my last term, in my second term here on City Council, you've been a strong voice in holding the administration and finance teams to the highest standards. Especially in your last 2 years, you demanded excellence. You asked the tough questions. You were instrumental in getting this city back to programming, funding, and executing real capital improvement plans. And that if it wasn't for you, the city would not currently be back on the 15-year paving program. Our stormwater program that helps residents with neighborhood flooding would not be as robust as what it is today. And we would not have a lot of the financial policies and procedures that we have in place today. And I also want to thank you for staying around and continuing to serve the community and all that you're doing to help turn around the Hopewell Redevelopment and Housing Authority. Next up is Senator Aird and Delegate Coiner. Y'all were an excellent team to work with the state. This was the true vision of what I believe our forefathers thought of when they talked about bipartisanship, working together for a common good. We can have personal differences, we can have policy and philosophical differences, but at the end of the day, it's all about the community. Y'all worked great with Secretary Cummings and Deputy Secretary Markowitz to help turn the city around. Y'all put in many hours in working with the money committees to bring Alvarez and Marcel here to fruition. Y'all faced fierce opposition from a previous majority on city council to not patron and pass a fiscal distress bill. However, y'all did the right thing and pushed forward, and we all got it passed. And now, because of y'all's work, no other locality will have to experience what Hopewell experienced over these last 11 years. And that's something that will have an everlasting impact on Virginia and countless lives. So thank you. Next up is David Foley. I guess you could say you're almost the man of the hour until that report is submitted. I can still remember the first time that you presented before council when I was on council back in 2019, or it might have been 2020. I get the dates mixed up. And I can still remember you calling the city manager at the time, checking to see if I was okay because I was visibly frustrated with the lack of progress that was made. And so I hope now that you can see that I have nothing but smiles for miles tonight on this wonderful achievement. And you've been working tirelessly and helping us get caught up on these audits. And I know that we, again, you mentioned that we had a rocky road at the very beginning. But once we got all on the same sheet of music, it was almost like a municipal finance symphony. And that we're really looking forward to getting that 2026 audit done early, on time, and we're going to hope for that fully clean, unmodified opinion. Next up is Mr. Rogers and Mr. Bissett. Y'all have been a force multiplier here for the city. You've saved the city hundreds of thousands of dollars. You've professionalized City Hall more than any other administrative team in the last 12 years. You've continued to tackle issues like financial management down at the Beacon Theater, improving efficiencies with our Economic Development Authority, fixing our audit issues, fixing issues down at our wastewater treatment plant, and working with the staff down at the Hopewell Redevelopment and Housing Authority to help turn them around so that they can coin the Army, be all that they can be. And so we sincerely thank you both for your service and for your leadership. Next, Senator Aird, you're going to have an encore performance on this one. Senator Aird and Delegate Daugherty. Did she? Yes, she made it. Oh, she's all the way in the back. She's being modest. With our finances being in order, y'all have been a dynamic team working with y'all this General Assembly session. It was exciting to see a record number of budget amendments put forward for Hopewell. Capital improvements at the wastewater plant, the HVAC system replacement over at the Hopewell High School, riverfront recreational improvements, not to forget additional public safety dollars. Unfortunately, we didn't get as much as what we had hoped in this General Assembly session. I know that it's been a tough budget cycle, and y'all are still working and slugging it out. But I do want y'all to know that y'all have submitted more budget amendments in one fiscal year than any team that I know of. And I'm really, really excited to work with this new partnership as we continue to move Hopewell in this new era. Next up is the woman of the hour, Ms. Stacy Jordan. I mentioned earlier that Robert Bob's group and team was instrumental in turning the city around, and folks have made multiple comments that the work that he did in cleaning up the city's finances was probably the greatest thing that he's done for the city. Well, I like to think that that's the second greatest thing that he did for this city. I believe the greatest thing that he did for us was recruiting you and convincing you to tackle on the challenge to come to Hopewell and become our Chief Financial Officer. You've performed beautifully, impressively. You've grabbed the bull by the horns, and still to this day, you haven't let go. You've been instrumental in getting the city caught up on all of its audits. You worked with Davenport Investments to get multiple diagnostic bond rating tests completed and done. You've ensured that the city adheres to financial policies and procedures and internal controls. You've been responsible for the city being able to fund tens of millions of dollars in capital improvements. And I know that if it wasn't for you and your diligent leadership, that would not have been possible. And because of you and individuals on council like Ms. Pelham, we are back on the 15-year paving program. We're able to fund more sewer pump stations than we've ever been able to do. We've been able to fix more stormwater drainage issues. And this is a real testament to your expertise and your grit and your work ethic. And lastly, I want to recognize the members on City Council. Councilor Harris, Councilor Rapoli, Councilor Day, Councilor Ellis, Councilor Wheat, and Vice Mayor Joyner. Y'all have been through quite a lot, to say the least. Experiencing negative comments, name-calling, harassment, misinformation, character attacks, just to scratch the surface. But as a team, we've pulled through this. While we may not have agreed on everything, we've been able to talk through issues, we've been able to work together, we've been able to compromise. And this city is in the best position that it has been in the last 11 years. Hopewell begins this new era of professionalism, financial accountability, and good governance. And now that the years of late audits and financial mismanagement are behind us, our future is really bright, and the possibilities are limitless. Strategic planning can take more effect, and because of you and the tough decisions that the body has made, this city is ready for this new chapter of rebuilding itself. And so at this time, I'd like to ask everyone to join me in a round of applause for all these individuals. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
So, to keep up with the good news, we're now going to have our new wastewater director come on up and wrap up the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, members of council. That's a really hard act to follow. Kind of wish I was first on the agenda. I was here before you about a month ago giving you an update on water renewal, the treatment plant, and how things were going down there. And Mr. Rogers asked me to come back and do an update on the pump stations, tell you where things stand. And some of this is going to, when it comes to the consent order, be a little redundant because of just putting the same information back out there for the public. But we're going to talk about a couple of the pump station projects that we have on the docket that are underway and coming up. Talk about some of the miscellaneous maintenance activities that we have going on to keep us moving in the right direction, and then do a little overview of the consent order that's in effect. So first up, we have the Queen Anne Pump Station. This is a project that's been underway for a little while now. We are still in the survey aspect of this project. We are doing force main improvements along with a complete station rehabilitation, and surveying the new alignment for the force main is what is still ongoing. Most of it is done, and we have a section that is going to run through CSX right-of-way, and so we've submitted basically an access agreement to CSX to get the engineer and their subcontracting survey group in there, and they're just kind of going back and forth about some insurance requirements right now before CSX gives them the go-ahead to get in there and do the survey work necessary. Once that survey work is complete and we have the alignment, we'll be able to move forward with the hydraulic analysis of the new force main to determine pump selection and things like that, and we'll be able to get this going much quicker. Next, we've got the Jackson Farm Pump Station. This is a pump station complete rehabilitation funded by the Virginia Clean Water Revolving Fund. So this is a loan that we were able to secure from the state. And along with the rehabilitation, we're looking at increasing capacity at this station, either with an additional pump or upsizing portions of the force main. So that's going to be looked at. Along with electrical and ventilation upgrades. Ventilation upgrades, you'll see here shortly, there's a reoccurring theme. Unfortunately, wastewater gases produce a lot of hydrogen sulfide, especially in confined areas. And we have electrical equipment in a lot of those spaces, and inadequate ventilation leads to the early demise of electrical equipment. And so most of these stations were designed years and years ago before a lot of these ventilation, I'll say, standards existed to keep these things well aired, and we're taking care of that with these projects. We're also going to be installing integration to our SCADA system, so that we'd be able to monitor this pump station from water renewal with the 24/7 operators there, as well as a new replacement backup generator for redundancy. And we are scoping out this project with the engineer as we speak, and these funds become available July 1, so we're going to be ready to hit the ground running with the full design then. Moving on, we've got Station Street and Mansion Hill. These are two very similar projects. Again, complete station renovations with all the mechanical equipment as well as safety improvements. We have a number of sites where, whether it's railings around the wet wells, it's lighting issues, it's ventilation, it's just not great for our workers to be in and around, so we're going to be taking care of that as we get to each pump station upgrade. As you can see with Station Street there, current layout allows those wet well gases to accumulate. And so we're going to improve ventilation. Also a new generator there along with the electrical upgrades. We're in preliminary engineering there. We're in discussion with an engineering firm to take on this project. And hopefully we'll be moving forward with a scope of service and the design here shortly. Mansion Hills is the same situation. But that's another station like Jackson Farm. We're going to be looking at increasing capacity through this station through either upsizing force mains or reevaluating our pump sizes.
And that one's because we have the potential for some development there at Victoria Landing.
We need to be able to handle and accommodate future flow increases in that part of the city. Yes. Okay. First Street is another station that is it's a project that's being run out of our maintenance budget. Where we currently have bypass rental pumps in place to handle the flow, because we've got some new pumps that have been delivered, but we haven't had an opportunity to install them yet because we need to set up a larger bypass, which has some funding issues, which we'll talk about later during regular business. We need to get a larger bypass set up for about a week so we can pull everything out, clean the wet well completely, get all the debris out, all the grit and everything out so we can set new pumps in place. Then we'll be able to get everything off rent and reduce our monthly operating costs significantly by not having those rental pumps out there, and get the new grinders installed as well in that process. flow meter's already been replaced out there, so we're getting more accurate information, but we just need to get it going through the full pump station instead of bypass pumps. Along with that, we do have general maintenance happening at pump stations across the city as time and need allows. We've been replacing our auto dialer systems with basically cellular modems for communication. So as we have the opportunity, these auto dialers were old copper lines that when an alarm would trigger, a phone call would go out. They've received a phone call in the control room, and acknowledge it, and then have to send somebody over there. Well, we're working on bringing more data in via cellular modem so that we can watch pump levels and see generator run alarms and things like that, and then have a better feel for what's going on from water renewals control room and give us better information to respond as needed. We're buying and replacing pumps and rotating assemblies for pumps, at some of the smaller stations. We're also upgrading and replacing wet well level sensors. There's a variety of different technologies out there, and some of the old bubbler systems foul up regularly just because of the accumulation of grease and other material in a wet well. It's old technology, so we're bringing in ultrasonics and laser level equipment just to be able to better monitor the wet well to tell the pumps when to turn on and turn off. And of course, ventilation improvements and lighting upgrades. For a lot of our sites, we like to stay out of the public eye with these types of facilities, but however, when you need to go in there at night and do work, we need to have adequate lighting so that our operators and maintenance techs can be in there safely doing their jobs. And then last but not least, our consent order. So, the city entered into a consent order with DEQ. That was the result of a number of notices of violations and inspection of the treatment plant. That was signed by the city manager back in February. It went through a public comment period with DEQ and was fully executed by DEQ on April 9th. So we have that in hand. And part of that, first, DEQ has been really supportive of us through this whole process, and they did not issue any civil fines as part of this. They realized that the money that was needed to get our facilities back to where they need to be needs to stay in Hopewell and get this job done and not pay into fines in the state coffers. So hats off to them and very appreciative of that effort. One of the things that the consent order requires is an update to our comprehensive pump station evaluation document. One was done a few years ago, and so they're looking for an update. So we're talking with an engineer currently. I should have a proposal in the next week or two to get that done. So we're going to do a comprehensive update to all the pump stations in the city, and that's going to help lay out the roadmap for the future rehab projects that will be coming in capital plans in the future. As things are looking better from a financial standpoint with the city, and we're going to become more eligible for additional grants and loan programs and things like that, that will help out, help get these things done quicker. With that, any questions?
Any questions from council?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Matt, is it the
Yes.
next meeting that we'll be back with the O&M contract for council to award?
So the O&M contract, we have reviewed those proposals. We have gone back to, I'll say, the top two submitters with a request for more information, more of a standard pricing scenario so that the contracts could be evaluated on an apples-to-apples standpoint. The original RFP didn't have a structured price that everybody had to follow. It was more of a solicitation of general pricing terms and price concepts. And so now that we're doing that, I believe those resubmittals are due back to purchasing tomorrow, I think at the end of the day. So we will get those and we will begin that evaluation process. Depends on how quickly we can get to interviewing either one or both of those offerers. But we're moving in the right direction, and we're hopefully by next council, we can talk about, here's the direction we're going, and it turns into more of a negotiation and a contract conversation after that. But fingers are crossed, yes. I'll be back next meeting with some more information on that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, council, that concludes the city manager's report.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, actions coming out of the closed session. Do I have a motion to appoint Sharon Neal to the Bright Point Community College Board and Raylan Wolf to the Library Board?
Second.
Second.
All right, motion's been made by Counselor Day and seconded by Counselor Wheat. Is there any discussion? Seeing no lights, roll call, please.
Counselor Wheat,
Yes.
Counselor Harris,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joyner,
Yes.
Mayor Parton,
Yes.
Counselor Rapoli,
Yes.
Counselor Day.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Okay. All right. At this time, I do not see Reverend Boggs here tonight. So if you please rise, I will do the prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day that you've given us. We thank you for all the wonderful, hard people that work for this city towards serving our citizens and providing wonderful service. Lord, we thank you for this great day in Hopewell, where we begin a new adventure in a new era. Lord, I pray that you will be over us tonight as we continue to make decisions in the best interest of the city and the future of the city and for the most well-being of our citizens. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All right. Motion's been made by Vice Mayor Joyner and seconded by Councilor Wheat. Seeing no lights for discussion, roll call, please.
Counselor Wheat,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joyner,
Yes.
Counselor Harris,
Yes.
Mayor Parton,
Yes.
Counselor Rapoli,
Yes.
Counselor Day.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Okay. Moving on to communications from citizens. Madam Clerk, will you please read the statement?
Before I read the statement, I would like everyone to know that the timer does work. There's a light on the podium that will turn yellow when you have a minute left. And once the time is gone, there is a beep that will go off, and it is rather loud, and I do not want you to be caught off guard.
Okay. All right. First, go ahead.
A communications from citizens period limited to a total of 30 minutes occurs at each regular council meeting. Persons addressing council approach the microphone, give their name, and if they reside in Hopewell, their ward number. Each comment is limited to 3 minutes. No person is permitted to speak on an item scheduled for public hearing. All remarks must be addressed to the council as a body. Any person who makes personal, impertinent, abusive, or slanderous statements or incites disorderly conduct in council chambers may be barred from future communications from citizens and removed.
Okay. First that I have signed up for tonight is Mr. Mark Burrows.
Mark Burrows, Ward 3. First of all, I have to eat a little crow. I'd like to apologize to little Miss CJ and her parents. I didn't realize she was still in the room when I spoke up before leaving at the last meeting. I don't apologize for what I said, but I should have been more aware of my surroundings. Secondly, I was wrong at the last meeting. I stated that an increase to the stormwater was voted on 13 January. It was in fact an increase in sewage that was considered. All of that being said, I still take exception with the contempt that was shown to the citizens by a member of this council. I'll be the first to admit that I also treat that person with disdain. The difference is that he is a public servant paid for by the very people being disrespected, and I am not. I have no tolerance for a person who demands respect but hides behind somebody else's authority. While I appreciate your passion and the improvements made, Due to the contempt shown to us, I hope that you resign. I hope that you seek an audience anywhere but here. That being said, I'm glad to see that the audits are complete and to see that we can move forward as a city. I know it has not been easy, and I hope that y'all are drafting new ordinances to govern our council and city officials to ensure that failures in the future will be met with swift and severe justice.
Okay, next is Karen Thayer.
Good evening. Karen Thayer, Ward 7. Good evening to council. The only thing that I would like to say is we as citizens, we pay for you all to work up there, and you all have asked to work up there. And we would like to see, as citizens, that our opinions, our thoughts are also considered when you all make decisions. Not that only your decision is what is made. Because we, in the end, you said it yourself, that we, the citizens, are, at the end of the day, what's important. So make us important. Make us feel like we care. Because I don't think the citizens feel that way. Secondly, I would like to add that the trash, we pay $30 and some cents for it to be picked up 4 times out of the month. I am lucky that my trash gets picked up once in a month. But I don't get any credit for that because it's a flat fee. But that's unfair. Why am I paying for something that I'm not getting? I don't go to the grocery store and pay for all my food and only get a quarter of it. Do you understand what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. We're paying for a service we don't get. And we're paying for you all. And we're not getting the service we need.
Thank you. Ms. Thayer, if you'll email your address to the city clerk, we can have CVWMA make sure that they go back out there and...
I've called. I call every month.
Okay. Well, if you send it there, we can, then if you've done it multiple times, then we can have our city manager follow up with that.
Thank you.
Okay. Next is, I believe it's Ms. Sonder? Last name Sonder? Or, okay.
How you doing, man? Roger Saunders?
Roger, okay.
Okay.
It looked like it was Roja, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Last year I complained about King's Court. They did a fine job. And what I came out today, because y'all did a job, I think you did unexpected. When the gas came in and turned the road up, they put their part down there, and the city didn't inspect the road, had holes line, the pipe wherever it is leaking. So they paved the road, and ran in King's Court on Luther Boulevard. There are 2 holes in it. And you spend the money for nothing. You should have checked before to pave the road, or, check before the holes leaking. And then we spend money for nothing. Second part, you did a part and complete the end from New York Street all the way to the end of Dublin, all the way to Dublin Street. It never been paid. The holes down the road, you got duct and pothole. So I think once the gas company fixed the King's Court road will never be fixed by now. I don't think so. I may be wrong. But anyway, the holes down there need to be fixed. Y'all did a great job. But you inspected the highway before you put the tar down. So it's been extra money for nothing.
Mr. Rogers, can you have Ms. Robertson follow up on that?
Yep.
All right. And, sir, if you'll leave your contact information with our city manager or city clerk, that way they can follow back up with you.
Well, I turn it in. Ain't nobody been sitting there. I live in all the side. Well, I live in the subdivision anyway.
Mhm.
So that's why I complain. No problem. I'll explain to the city manager.
Yeah, if you just leave us, if you just write down on just a scratch piece of paper, if you wait till the end of the meeting where we can write down your address and your contact information, that way we can follow back up with you.
Oh, okay. Ain't no problem.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay. Next is April Jones Tyler.
Good evening, everyone. I'm in Ward 2. I live in Thomas Roth location. I'm here tonight. I've come here possibly 3 times with the same complaint. Hopewell Redevelopment Housing Authority. I'm getting notices, but my concerns, issues are still not being addressed. For example, my tub and my window units in the bathroom still needs to be fixed. I'm receiving notices, but nothing's being done. And this is happening multiple times, and I'm also ceasing a higher chain. So I've been through every chain of command that I possibly could, and still nothing's being resolved. Or I'm receiving retaliation, such as, for example, I may need this done, and then next thing I know, I come in, someone have disconnected something underneath my sink, or underneath my sink is leaking. Or I may come back in, my toilet's fine, and then next thing I know, my toilet won't flush. And then I'm asking for a notice when someone is coming. I can come down to the housing office, Thomas Roth location, and pretty much state, like, hey, my toilet's not flushing. Next thing I know, while I'm communicating, they're already sending someone to my unit without notifying me and saying, hey, well, we seen a trash bag. And I'm like, I know. Instead of me having to come down here kind of frustrated for continuously saying the same thing over and over again, I came up with a solution. Just put a trash bag there until, they come and resolve it. That particular day, my daughter, I was taking her to school. Didn't have time to think about dumping the trash bag during that time, because I'm a single mom, and I'm just trying to get through the day, as well as take care of my health too. So pretty much the trash bag was just, when I came back, it was in the toilet, but the seat was down. When they went in, they lifted the toilet seat up and took a picture, and I'm like, I have multiple pictures. I have a picture of when I put a big trash bag there to collect our urine and feces, and now I'm putting a smaller trash bag. So my main thing is I've put in several grievances. None of my grievances have been answered. I've been to several board meetings. I'm still at pretty much no response. My main concern is educate me on when I put in a grievance. Let me know what's the next steps. I'm putting it in. I'm doing what you're saying, what they're telling me to do. Oh, is that my time?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for your.
All right. Thank you. Okay. And last is Ms. Darlene Thompson. Oh, I'm sorry. Ms. Thompson, 1 second. I checked off Sherrod Fuller first by accident.
I said, wait a minute.
Good evening, Council, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Manager, and everyone. My name is Sherrod Fuller. I am in Ward 5. So I just wanted to come to you tonight with a few events that we have coming up. On Monday, May 4th, we have a joint Ward 5 and Ward 4 neighborhood watch meeting. To ensure we're serving the neighbors properly for Neighborhood Watch going forward, all Ward 5 and Ward 4 meetings will be joint. I would love for anybody else to volunteer from Ward 4 to be the Neighborhood Watch captain. However, that has not occurred yet. So I am the captain for Ward 5, 4, and 7, which is a big undertaking. So we do need more citizens to do our part. So that's an option, but it will be Monday, May 4th at 6 p.m. at Wesley United. Also, school is almost out. We know that kids will be outside. We know that we'll see them at the skate parks. But before school lets out, there are baseball games. There are soccer games. There's band competitions. There's also graduation. So I would love it if the community could come out and celebrate these babies because they have worked hard despite the trials and tribulations that they have faced. Some of these babies are burying their loved ones, and they're still showing up, making honor roll. They're part of National Honor Society, and these babies are doing a phenomenal job out of Hopewell High School, as well as Appomattox Regional, Code RVA, and Maggie Walker. So I definitely want to give big kudos to these kids they're making it happen despite the adversities. But also I want to share with the citizens that even though it's great that they're posting these events on Facebook, it would also be great if they came out to the events. I see the football stands filled. As a football mom, they're filled. They're filled for basketball. They're filled for baseball. They're filled for those other things. But the drumline event we had just 2 weeks ago, other than the parents, there was not one citizen there. And that's really heartbreaking because these babies are award-winning. And then they just drove to Newport News after school last Friday to go and compete against 6 other schools. So I would love it if people could show up for that. Also next week on May 4th is also Stand By Me. It is SOL week, so if you could come out, show off the starting line of the schools at Harry E. James, DuPont, and Patrick Copeland, and just cheer these babies on as they go in and take these amazing tests. These kids are working hard, and parents are too, so they would love to see some amazing faces. And if anyone has any questions, they can message me, because I'm pretty available. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fuller. Ms. Thompson?
Darlene Thompson, Ward 6. It's amazing to hear your speech tonight because before, every problem that the city had, it was because of the previous administration that they weren't able to get anything done. But now, all of a sudden, they're grand. I went up in, I said, the white neighborhood. I see the roads are paved, bike lanes done, but in the black community, nothing. Only one road that is put in, street that's going to be paved, and that's Courthouse Road, and that's because I put a white person up here to say that it needed to be done. So you all are acting like you all are grand, that y'all are getting the work done in this city. I didn't hear not one of you all thank the citizens for their help because it's because of the citizens that you all have taxed them across the board, and it's not even a sheet long enough for all of the taxes that these citizens had to pay. It's still paying. And you all are standing here acting like y'all are so grand, that y'all have done a great job. The Robert Bob Group is walking out here with almost over $4 million. The auditors, I just heard they had $651,000 that you all had to pay, and all I hear is internal controls. That's all he have given. Haven't found much of anything that needs to be done. But you all are sitting here like you all are so grand. On the back of these citizens, the black community, we give you all our votes, and you all give us nothing. Nothing. If I'm lying, you can tell me what you have done in our community. You all ask for nothing, and we get nothing. A black city manager fired. We had a black city councilman fired. 2 black clerks gone. A black city treasurer fired. pretty much got voted out, but you all put the money up to bring someone to vote to run against her, and you all are sitting here with your hands clapping and grand on the back of our citizens that tell you repeatedly we do not have it. And each time someone come to Bob Group, you all said Branson, part of the Bob Group, $13,000 a month. He was the one that told the city that we were broke. Okay? And because of
Thank
that...
you, Ms. Thompson. Your time is up.
Oh, I thought they said we'd have another minute.
Yep. Your time is up. Thank you. All right. Normally I would go and correct comments, but I think that last bit of comments don't even really dignify a response. Moving on to regular business. R1.
Mr. Mayor, this is an ordinance granting a non-exclusive cable franchise to Verizon. So Verizon came to the city under Virginia law in order for a company like Verizon or Comcast or what have you to operate a cable franchise or to operate cable within a city to offer it to its citizens. They have to first enter into an agreement with the city that is adopted in the form of an ordinance. That's what's happened. Verizon has come to the city, and we've hammered out the details of the franchise agreement with Verizon.
Before you continue, Mr. Bissett, this is going to be the audience one and only a warning to please be quiet while people are presenting up here, and that if you don't, we're going to ask you to leave.
You don't have to ask.
Please. All right. Please escort Mr. Hauser out of the building. Mr. Bissett, please continue.
Of course. So the agreement that's on the table requires Verizon meet certain customer service marks. It provides the city and the school system with the use of a public access channel if the city and schools desire such a thing. It also provides for the city to receive a 5% fee from Verizon, which is collected by the state. So, bottom line here for citizens are going to be able to have Verizon service as well in the city in short order if it is council's decision to pass this ordinance. By the way, because I know that there have been questions to this effect, our office is also working on an internet and telecoms franchise agreement with Verizon, which will come before this council in the near future for adoption.
Okay. All right. At this time, we will go ahead and open up the public hearing. The only person that I have signed up tonight for this public hearing is Mr. Burrows.
Mark Burrows, Ward 3. I don't want to ruffle anybody's feathers and cause somebody to feel like my comment isn't worthy of being or dignified with a response. I just wanted to let y'all know, I don't know what authority y'all have over Verizon or whatever else, but I've had Verizon at my house in Mansion Hills for going on 2 years now. So I don't know if there's some kickback that now y'all are getting for endorsing, like that the city's getting, not y'all individually. I don't want to accuse y'all of anything corruptible or anything like that, but if there's some benefit to the city as to why all of a sudden y'all are wanting to jump in bed with Verizon when I've had them for, like I said, going on 2 years over at the house. But, again, I don't want to ruffle any feathers or not warrant a response or anything like that. So, yeah.
If I may, Mr. Burrows, if you do in fact get Verizon cable service already at your home right now, would you mind sending an email to my office? I'd like to ask you a little bit more about it. They're not supposed to be right now, but
They came 2 or 3 years ago now, and they came through, knocked on everybody's door, asked who wanted it, who didn't it, and the ones that said yes, they ran it. I've got FiOS at the house and everything.
Cable or FiOS?
FiOS, I believe, but we had an option of cable. We just canceled it because it got too ungodly expensive.
Thank you for letting me know.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. All right. At this time, do we have a motion to approve the ordinance granting a non-exclusive cable franchise to Verizon Virginia LLC as presented tonight?
So moved.
I'll second it. Any discussion? Seeing no lights, roll call, please.
Counselor Wheat,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joyner,
Yes.
Counselor Harris,
Yes.
Mayor Parton,
Yes.
Counselor Rapoli,
Yes.
Counselor Day.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Okay, moving on to R2. Mr. Passett?
This is a kind of a housekeeping measure. So there exists a state law called Public-Private Educational Facilities and Infrastructure Act of 2002. It allows an additional form of contracting for the city for goods and services beyond just what the Virginia Public Procurement Act allows. In short, what the PPEA allows are arrangements where you have a vendor. These are typically on larger contracts, infrastructure contracts, whether it's building a school. I'm out of time, apparently. In any case, it is a method of procurement that is allowed under state law, but state law requires a locality before engaging in that kind of procurement to pass a local ordinance that sort of sets out how it would happen if it happened. So this here is not itself a contract for anything. There is no procurement here. This is simply in unmet ordinance need in the city. This is sort of a tool in the toolbox that cities and counties are allowed to have. We just haven't given it to ourselves.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and open up the public hearing. I have only Mr. Burris signed up for tonight.
Mark Burrows, I only signed up in case I had something to say, don't have nothing to say. Have a great evening.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and close up the public hearing. Is there a motion to approve the ordinance implementing the Public-Private Educational Facilities and Infrastructure Act of 2002, PPEA, as presented tonight?
So move.
I'll second it. Any discussion? Seeing no lights, roll call, please.
Counselor Wheat,
Yes.
Counselor Harris,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joyner,
Yes.
Mayor Parton,
Yes.
Counselor Rapoli,
Yes.
Counselor Day. Motion passes 5-0.
Okay. R3, Ms. Jordan.
This is just a proposed tax rates for the upcoming fiscal year 27. There has been no request for changes to the tax rate, but I do want the residents to be aware that next year there will be a reassessment year, not meaning that the tax rate will be increased, but your assessment value may increase. But next year is the actual reassessment year, but we are doing no increases to the tax rate for the upcoming fiscal year.
Okay. Thank you. Go ahead and open up the public hearing. First one I have signed up for tonight is Mark Burrows.
I might as well get used to this game. I do have a question legitimately about this one, though. Last assessment time frame, we were instructed that our assessments were based off of a neighboring community. I believe it was Williamsburg. Is that going to be the case this time again, or are we going back to local comparisons to local community with local home values?
If I'm not mistaken, Mr. Nelson Powell, who is our city assessor, gave a presentation at the budget town hall meeting.
I was unable to make it due to work.
Across the different localities. It's going to be posted online too, so you can see his presentation.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Next is Roger Saunder. Okay. Next, Darlene Thompson.
If you were going, Darlene Thompson, Ward 6, if you are going to be allowed to make disrespectful
Ma'am,
remarks,
please
we
keep
should
your
be able
comments
to
strictly
comment
to the public
on what
hearing.
you are saying. But
Please
I'm
keep
here
your comments
because
to the
of
public hearing.
That's what I'm here
Please
to
keep
do.
your comments to the public hearing.
I am speaking on the tax rate. Our tax rates went up and our tax assessments went up. And because of that, the citizens is the one feeling it. Okay? You all tax us across the board, or with everything. Everything that you all decided that y'all needed money for, y'all came after the citizens. I'm going to keep coming up here because I got the voice for them. And they have no idea that it's this city council that is taxing the heck out of them with everything that the Bob Group put before you all, and they're the ones walking out the door with all the millions of dollars. But the taxpayers are the one that is feeling it. I'm sure you can't go up with the tax rates this year because you all are already getting millions of dollars. You can't go up again with the assessments because you all are already getting millions of dollars that these people are figuring out how I am going to pay it. You all are not listening, but it's 4 of you all up for re-election, really 5. And I hope the people, the citizens here, would know who you all are, so when you come and ask for a signature, we are not giving it to you. They don't know the process here. They don't know that it's you all that is sending those bills to them. And you got a nerve to try to be disrespectful. It's a man that sits high and looks low. And we continue to give you all our votes with nothing in return but a bill.
All right. Go ahead and close the public hearing. All right. At this time, do I have a motion to adopt the proposed tax rates for 2027 as presented?
So moved.
Second.
All right. Motion's been made by Vice Mayor Joyner and seconded by Councilor Wheat. Any discussion? Seeing no lights, roll call, please.
Counselor Wheat,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joyner,
Yes.
Counselor Harris,
Yes.
Mayor Parton,
Yes.
Counselor Rapoli,
Yes.
Counselor Day.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
All right. Moving on to R4.
Hello again, Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, members of council. Matt Ellinghouse, Director of Water Renewal. I've come before you requesting a budget amendment to the Fund 41 wastewater collection system pump station sewer fund for the city in the amount of $2.3 million. It's approximately, so back in the fall, there was a discrepancy was discovered in the meter readings with Prince George County. So we anticipated revenue of approximately $820,000 from Prince George County for their sewer services, but due to faulty meter readings, that reconciled to revenue expectation of about $3 million. So we're seeking, and then this was discussed with Prince George County back in the fall. There was an agreement here before City Council. Their Board of Supervisors approved this $2.3 million settlement to basically true up what their services cost and what they purchased from us. We're seeking to pull that money, that $2.3 million, into the current FY26 budget to take care of some of the emergency repairs. I mentioned earlier that we have a number of pump stations where we've got portable bypass pumps, one monthly rental from various vendors to keep things running, keep everything operating. Number of, emergency sewer repairs. Most recently, last month, the Clean Air and Force Main split open. We spent a good chunk of money out there getting that repaired over about a 24-hour period. So we need to keep the momentum we have gained to comply with the consent order, as well as keep the sewer in the pipes and in the pump stations. And we're requesting that this money be pulled into the current fiscal year.
And this isn't specifically, it deals with the pump stations, but for all the cost overruns that have gone with this Queen Anne pump station, I know that we approved it back in the fall of 2023, and then we reapproved it again in 2025 since no action was taken on it, unfortunately. But can you give me a rundown, or when you get a chance, of all the additional costs?
Yeah, well, so
You don't have to. No, you don't have to do it tonight.
Well, there is so the Queen Anne Pump Station, the station upgrade project is independent of this financial request.
Okay.
So that project is separate from this.
Okay.
I used the Queen Anne force main because we had a force main split last month, which is a repair to the force main independent of
the system,
the
of the
upgrade
actual pump station
project
itself,
on the
right.
pump station. Right. This was just an emergency repair that we had to get a contractor in to help fix to keep the sewer within the pipe and not leaking into the grid.
But yeah, if you could just send us some of those figures, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Sure.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and open up the public hearing. Only one I have signed up for tonight is Mr. Mark Burrows.
You can't speak unless you sign up, so I'm gonna sign up for everything from here on out. I just want to be perfectly clear about something. You can talk as loud as you want. You can try to speak over people as loud as you want. You don't intimidate a damn soul.
Mr. Burrows, please keep your comments to the public hearing.
Oh, it's pertaining to the public hearing. You can
Please
say what you
keep your
want to say. Here,
comments
we'll
to
talk
the
about
public hearing.
it. All right, hold on. Let me make it relevant to the public hearing. Here in the state of Virginia, you can participate in mutual combat if both parties agree. I'll be more than happy to meet you at
my
any
gosh.
pump station you want.
Deputy, please remove Mr. Burrows from this meeting.
For what?
Making a threat.
That wasn't a threat. It was simply an offer.
Please remove Mr. Burrows from City Hall.
For what?
All right. Public hearing is now closed.
Are you prepared to put your badge on the line for it? 'Cause I'm prepared
All
to
right.
take your
At
badge.
this time, do I have a motion to approve the resolution amending Fund 41 of the Hopewell Water Renewal FY 2026 budget to the pump station repairs? All right. Seeing no lights for discussion, roll call, please.
Counselor Weed,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joyner,
Yes.
Counselor Harris,
Yes.
Mayor Parton,
Yes.
Counselor Rapoli,
Yes.
Counselor Day.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. Please have Mr. Burrows removed from City Hall. Deputies, please remove Mr. Burrows from City Hall. Moving on to R5.
We ain't gone, Hoss. You got a problem once there's somebody else, I'll meet you too.
Please continue.
All right. Come before you.
You're the biggest coward I've ever met. You're a complete disgrace.
Please have the gentleman removed.
I don't know how you can
Go
sit
ahead,
there.
sir.
So this is a second budget amendment. This is for Fund 32 at Hopewell Water Renewal. We have we're requesting some I'll say miscellaneous revenues in excess of what we budgeted and accounted for. Miscellaneous revenues as well as an insurance payout be pulled into this current operating budget to take care of emergency repairs that we have ongoing as it relates to the consent order and the requirements of DEQ's enforcement action. We're seeking the roll-in of $1,089,577. $460,000 of that is an insurance payment due to it's a payout. It's a reimbursement for money that we had spent previously in the fiscal year making repairs to portions of our incinerator that caught fire due to a failed quench water pump. The additional funds, like I said, miscellaneous revenue, but ultimately will be shared across our users. You can see on the next that's a listing of all the different parts and pieces and equipment that we'll be purchasing with this money to get primary and secondary clarifiers operating again, grip channels and things like that. And if you scroll down a little bit more, you'll see the breakdown of the industrial user charges. Next one down. Showing how the expenses break out amongst our industrial user partners and the city. So even though we're requesting about just over $1 million, it's actually, once you pull the insurance money from that, as well as about $350,000 of direct reimbursement funds from Ashland and Advan 6 for pump stations that they share in the cost of. It's only about $300,000 of additional expenses to our industrial partners and the city itself.
Okay.
I'm happy to take any questions.
Okay. Seeing no lights, we're going to go ahead and we're going to open up the public hearing. All right. Only person I have signed up for tonight is Mr. Burrows. Go ahead and close the public hearing. Do I have a motion to approve the resolution amending Fund 32 of the Hopewell Water Renewal FY 2026 budget to operations and maintenance for critical repairs to the Hopewell Water Renewal Plan as presented tonight?
So moved.
Second.
All right. Motion's been made by Vice Mayor Joyner and seconded by Councilor Wheat. Seeing no lights for discussion, roll call, please.
Counselor Wheat,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joyner,
Yes.
Counselor Harris,
Yes.
Mayor Parton,
Yes.
Counselor Rapoli,
Yes.
Counselor Day.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Okay. All right. Moving on to a special item of business of when we amended the agenda earlier this afternoon. I would like to ask Mr. Rogers and Ms. Jordan to please come forward. And for City Council to please come on up. Mr. Don, we want to come up to a little bit of legacy right here. So, tonight was a monumental day for the city of Hopewell. And this could not have been done without both of y'all's leadership. Y'all's hard work, your expertise, the countless late nights that I know that you spent here, the days on the weekend that you've come in, coming in early, just going above and beyond. And we really appreciate all that you guys have done. And so we had some proclamations done to celebrate this occasion in recognition and honor of both of y'all's hard work and dedication to the city. And so I'm going to read them out loud for everybody. Whereas Mr. Michael C. Rogers faithfully served as the interim city manager for the city of Hopewell for 12 months, providing steady leadership during a period of transition. And whereas during his tenure, Mr. Rogers demonstrated professionalism, integrity, and a deep commitment to the effective operation of city government. Few city managers have ever brought the level of professional decorum and development to this role that you have. Whereas he worked collaboratively with City Council, the school board, HRHA, department directors, staff, and the community to ensure continuity of services, better fiscal management, completion of annual audits, and the progress on key initiatives, including revitalizing the city's capital improvement plan, growing the undesignated fund balance, overseeing the employee satisfaction initiative, reducing violent crime and property crime. And whereas his leadership helped guide the city through important decisions and challenges, maintaining stability and fostering confidence among residents, small business owners, employees, and community stakeholders alike. And whereas Mr. Rogers will leave an everlasting positive impact on the city of Hopewell through his dedication, expertise, responsiveness, public service, and record of accomplishment. Now therefore I, Johnny Parton, and Rita Joyner, Mayor and Vice Mayor, and all members of City Council of Hopewell, Virginia, do hereby express our sincere appreciation to Mr. Michael Rogers for his service as interim city manager and extend best wishes for continued success in all your future endeavors. In witness thereof, I have set unto my hand and caused to be affixed the Great Seal of Hopewell and the Commonwealth of Virginia this 28th day of April 2026. Now for the woman of the hour. Stacy, all I can say is you've just been an absolute gem for this city. You've just done such an incredible job, and I just cannot be prouder again of all the work that you've done. And I just want you to stay here in Hopewell forever. I'm being incredibly selfish. But we also did a proclamation in celebrating this monumental occasion and just marking this major achievement that you will have for the rest of your life. Whereas the city of Hopewell has dealt with this severe fiscal distress for over a decade, including missing, late, or unclean audits, and whereas Stacy Jordan was appointed the Chief Financial Officer in August of 2024 and immediately undertook the critical responsibility of restoring the financial health of our municipality, and whereas Stacy Jordan demonstrated exceptional leadership, technical expertise, and unwavering dedication to implementing rigorous financial controls and developing a comprehensive recovery plan, and whereas under the guidance of Stacy Jordan, the City of Hopewell has successfully navigated the complexities of financial recovery, resulting in the submission of all, which we capitalize, past due, annual comprehensive financial reports, bringing the City of Hopewell into compliance with the Virginia Auditor of Public Accounts requirements for the first time in 11 years. And whereas these actions have restored the public trust in municipal financial management and safeguarded the ability of the city to continue providing vital and necessary services for the health, safety, and welfare of the community, including the ability to secure a bond rating in the near future. And whereas Stacy Jordan has gone above and beyond the standard duties of the office to ensure the long-term fiscal accountability of the city. Now, therefore, I, Johnny Parton, and Rita Joyner, Mayor and Vice Mayor, and all members of City Council of Hopewell, Virginia, do hereby recognize the invaluable service and dedication of Stacy Jordan to the financial stability of our city and call upon the community to recognize all her accomplishments and contributions as well. In witness thereof, I have set unto my hand and caused to be affixed the Great Seal of Hopewell and the Commonwealth of Virginia this 28th day of April 2026. And so I'll let you guys open with any words that you'd like to leave us with.
I'm just grateful and thankful that council ended up giving me an opportunity to come to the city of Hopewell. I kind of knew what I was getting into, but not really. But it was okay, and we have pushed through, and we have made some great headway in the city of Hopewell, and the future is bright.
It's limitless.
Yeah,
It's exciting.
So I'm grateful, so thank you very much. Thank you.
Mr. Rogers?
Well, I had not planned to speak tonight. I was going to save that for that last meeting on the 12th when we present the city manager's budget. But let me just say that this year has been an extraordinary year for me. I've enjoyed working here. I enjoyed building a team. Ms. Jordan has been a great partner as we sought to right this ship. You've been great partners. As council, I couldn't have worked for a better council, I can tell you. And I just want to say thank you, and to the citizens of Hopewell, thanks for putting up with me. I know it easy. But I love this city, and we're moving in the right direction. And thank you for your leadership and leading the way.
Thank you, sir. So with that, do I hear a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ms. Pell.
Mr. Bob had something.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'd just like to make one comment. One of the changes that we made, among all of the proposed changes that we put forward to the city council, I think the most impactful change was to change the city council finance committee from, I think, 3 or 4 members, 2 members, and the city council finance committee became a committee of the whole, which is very unusual in most local governments. And as a result of that, it brought all of the council members to the table with respect to the work that Stacy has done, the work that all of the employees have done with regard to the city's budget and finances. So that in itself brought the elected officials of this city directly responsible and knowledgeable with regard to the work that the finance department and others have done, because that is the most significant public policy area that local government elected officials are engaged in.
Thank you, Mr. Tom. And with that, we will adjourn the meeting. And for those that stayed, I hope that you will enjoy some refreshments.